All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to SCORE Bucks County's webinar on how the Bucks County Industrial Development Authority can help small businesses. My name is Linda Zangrilli. I'm the current chapter chair for SCORE Bucks County, and I'm going to apologize in advance because I'm having some technical difficulties with my internet. So if I should freeze or you can't hear me, one of my peers will take over. Okay, so before we start, just a couple of housekeeping items. You will all receive a copy of the recording as well as the slides being presented today, so you don't have to take notes. Please put all of your questions in the Q&A and we will address them all at the end of the presentation. Please refrain from using the chat box to advertise your business. We would appreciate it. So a little bit about SCORE, who we are, what we do. If you'll give me a few minutes to do a commercial. We are a national nonprofit organization. We have some 350 chapters and between 10 and 13,000 members, all volunteers all over the country. We have a very, very simple mission, actually, and that is to help small businesses start, grow, and prosper through webinars such as the one you're going to hear today, as well as free mentoring services. So in Bucks County here, we're one of the 350 chapters. We have some 70 mentors available to you to help you along your journey to start a new business or to put a little bit of energy, I guess, into your existing business. So we're here to help no matter how you how you need it. You can visit our site, buckscounty.score.org, and just request a mentor and we'll take it from there. We are a resource partner of the Small Business Administration, and we have tons of resources at our disposal, of course, from them, from our national organization, and from our own chapter website. So I encourage you, if you need help, if you're struggling in any way, please reach out to us. And I assure you that with our 70 people coming from all walks of life, we'll be able to help you out. Okay, that's my commercial, so I'm going to be quiet now. I think I got through it without the freezing of my internet. I'm happy about that. So I'm going to introduce to you our seminar chair for SCORE Bucks County. His name is Ed Torello. Ed?
Yes, thank you very much, Linda. And thank you all for joining us. I think you're going to find this very, very informative and extremely helpful. We have with us today Thomas Lonergan, who is currently serving as the Deputy Executive Director for the Bucks County Industrial Development Authority. He assumed this role in April of 2021. Some of the things that I think are really interesting is he's had extensive experience in real estate development, particularly with grant financing and public-private partnerships throughout the Commonwealth. Ironically, he's a third-generation economic development professional following in the footsteps of his father and his grandfather. With that, I'm going to turn it over to TJ to start the presentation. TJ?
Thank you, everybody. It's great to be here, and thanks for everybody for taking the time to jump on. Hopefully, this will be educational for everybody. I joke around all the time that the IDA is probably the best kept secret in Bucks County. So hopefully you can take the information we'll have from this presentation and you hopefully be able to help your business in the future moving forward here in Bucks County. So just to give you a little background, so who is the IDA? Who are we? So we were founded in 1967 by the county, primarily to assist with tax-exempt financing, which we'll get to later in the presentation, for industrial, commercial, manufacturing projects throughout the county. Since our existence, back in 1967, we have issued hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of bonds for different projects, everything from small manufacturing projects to steel companies to hospitals. And we consider ourselves, just because of the number of things that we're able to do, to be the leading economic development agency for the county. Our board is appointed by the commissioners, so we have a relationship, but we are an independent agency outside of the county, so we don't operate directly under the county, but we do a lot of partnerships, not only with the county, but other agencies that are under the direction of the county. Like Ed had said before, my name is TJ Lonergan. I'm the Deputy Executive Director with the IDA. And as he said, my background is in real estate development, but then also financing as well, especially when it comes to gap financing and trying to make projects work. And seeing how we can best find money for either projects or businesses in different capacities. And I didn't put it on here, but our office is right over across, if you know where Doylestown Tennis Club and Central Bucks School District's offices are. We're right over there in Doylestown, right next to the Aldi Foundation. So we have a lot of different avenues in which we can help businesses. The main one that we do, we manage several $1 million worth of internal loan funds that have been provided over the last 40, 50 years to the IDA at different points from different sources. So as you can see here, there are a number of different funds that we run, that we manage, and there's different avenues and different companies that we like to use those funds for, just because of the direction of what the original source of the funding was. As you can see, we have our core industry fund, new economy. Core industry is more for small to medium-sized businesses. New economy is more for new businesses, new tech businesses, science. A lot of the businesses we've used these funds for have been for manufacturing, life sciences, things like that. And then we have our Bucks Guaranteed, Rebuilt, and Renewed. A lot of those funds are for redevelopment. We've used them on larger redevelopment projects. We've used them on facade improvements. So a business on Main Street looking to try to improve and give a little bit of a facelift to their property, as well as working capital for businesses that might want to outfit their space, things like that. Taste and Tour, that one is more for agribusinesses that to try to assist farmers and tourism-based businesses. We've made loans to breweries. We've made loans to local farmers to start farmers markets, things like that. And then our most recent fund that we've started, that was back actually in 2020. We were awarded these funds through the CARES Act, which was for COVID-19 business recovery. We received $2.5 million from the federal government and deployed it quickly. In 10 months, we actually got it out the door and to help businesses. And it's been very, very successful and working really well. So and through repayment, we actually are able to start redeploying some of these funds. So this is more of a generic pool. We want to try to help those affected by COVID-19, but now as we're getting further away from the effects of COVID-19, we want to try to use that more for helping small to medium-sized businesses through working capital or real estate acquisitions. How the loan funds can be used, the interest rates will vary. They're usually below market. For example, we just did a loan for a small retail shop. They're looking to expand, and it was $100,000 at 4% interest. So we try to keep it not at market, but definitely not really, really, really below market. Generally, it can be used for anything from working capital, assistance with real estate acquisitions, purchase of machinery or equipment, things along those lines. What we try to shy away from is refinancing debt and things like that. The process that for these loan funds is, I would always say, reach out early. It's definitely a process. We operate a little bit, I think, quicker than a bank in terms of being able to get the money into your hands, but we definitely like some lead time just because it has to go through. We have a loan review committee of some local bankers that helps to assess the application. There is the application process as well, which call for tax returns, what are you going to use the money for, things like that. And then our board has to approve it as well. So there is a couple steps that we'd have to go through in order to secure the funding. And then in addition, we're always looking for new opportunities. Hopefully by next year, we're going to have possibly 2 to 3 more sources that we can help. One would be a micro enterprise loan program, which would be for $50,000 and under through the SBA. an EPA brownfield. So if you have some kind of remediation work, an oil tank, something like that, we're hopeful we can get some funding there. And then more funding for agribusinesses, those that are based more in a rural setting of Bucks County. So more upper Bucks, some lower Bucks over in the Newtown, Yardley area. So hopefully we'll be able to get those funding sources online in 2023. That's our goal, to keep providing capital for small businesses in Bucks County. So just to give you an example of one of our successful projects, and I can list a ton of them, and if you have any questions on different, how we can use it or different projects or things like that, this is one of our most notable and we have received a lot of praise for it, which was the Trolley Barn redevelopment. If any of you know this property up in Quakertown, it was an old, they actually stored the trolley houses there. It was this old warehouse building. It was falling apart, and some local entrepreneurs came in and were looking to redevelopment to make it into an open market. There's a brewery in there. There's different food venues in there. It's a really, really great spot if you haven't been there before, for a nice day trip. But the IDA was able to come in, and through part of our funding sources came from two of our funds. We were able to provide them with a $1 million loan to help get that off the ground, in conjunction with some other financing sources. This is an example of one of the larger projects that we're a part of, but it was a really, really good success story for everybody. A smaller scale example I would give you from our loan funds, we were able to help an auto title and tag business down in Lower Bucks. They needed $75,000 for working capital to help expand their staff, and we were able to make that loan for them to keep them open. Another down in Bristol, a pizza place down in a pizza business down in Bristol Borough was looking to expand. Again, we were able to provide them a $100,000 loan. Again, the terms vary, whether it's the interest rate or if it's, if there's a balloon payment, 10 years, we're not going past 20, usually, if it's not tied to real estate. For the most part, we're anywhere from 3 to 7 years is usually our sweet spot, with maybe a balloon payment thrown in there. But we can help any kind of business. It doesn't have to just be small manufacturing or nonprofits or something like that. We'll definitely listen to everybody and see if it's something we can try to help with, or if I can't, try to point you in the right direction. Next source that we're able to at the IDA, it's something that we're able to take advantage, which is unique to our structure as an authority, which is tax-exempt financing. This can be specifically for nonprofits, as well as small manufacturers. And what we do is we act as a conduit. We are able to issue debt in conjunction with a lender for expansion projects. And they can be include costs from everything from pre-development to site acquisition to hard construction costs for the actual property. As you can see on the right-hand side there of that slide, that's the YMCA in Lower Bucks. We were able to provide a tax-exempt financing loan in conjunction with their partnering bank and the YMCA for their redevelopment. It's beautiful. If you haven't been there, it's a beautiful, beautiful property. Another example, that one was a nonprofit. This one is a for-profit, Clover Manufacturing, again, up in Quakertown. We issued about $2.8 million in a small issue debt. They were expanding their facility. So they were, as you can see, they were expanding their warehouses there, and they were able to increase and also retain jobs on site. And they're actually coming back to do another even bigger project. It was such a success. So we function all throughout the county, can do all kinds of different things, as long as it's small manufacturing of some kind, or it's a nonprofit business. Usually we say the sweet spot's about $2 million for your project. Again, that could be acquisition, soft costs, things like that. Just from the added cost of a tax-exempt issuance, that's usually where it pencils out. In general, especially in today's climate with interest rates, you're going to save probably around a percent, if not more, on your loan. And our workings with a lot of lenders, they pass that savings along to their clients, which is where the benefit of that comes into play. We're able to also do some other things like holding title, which helps on transfer tax issues and things like that, to assist and make the process as smooth as possible for any type of project that's out there. Another source that we actually just started this in 2021 is something called our Bucks Built Startup Fund, in partnership with Startup Bucks, which you can see their logo on the right-hand side there. It is we try to make about 5 awards a year, about $25,000 each in the form of a convertible note. So it's going in as debt, hopefully converting into equity at some point, for startup-based businesses in Bucks County that's looking to either be based here, grow employment here. And again, it can be any type of business. There's no restriction. It doesn't have to be high tech or life science or anything like that. We've funded a variety of different companies since its inception in 2021. We have been able to also partner with Penn Community Bank through this to provide additional funding. And since its inception, we've been able to fund 22 businesses for almost $400,000, whether that was direct grants, which Penn Community was able to provide funding for, or convertible notes, which the IDA was able to provide. We actually were just awarded some funding, and this program is going to be around for a couple more years, which is great. So we're excited that next year, in the beginning of 2023, sometime in the first quarter, we'll be making an announcement of the next round and when it's going to be open. We anticipate this round to be have the applications come in on a rolling basis. Before, we were having it where it was just one large due date, everybody get it in. And we felt that the rolling process would just be easier from our staffing perspective. But we're really looking forward to hopefully making 5 more awards for 2023, sometime in Q2 next year. But again, it's an exciting program. It's brand new, and we're looking forward to keeping this going. Our last thing that we are able to help with as an authority is also grant administration. So there's a variety of different grants that are out there. Some fit businesses better than others. But we are able to either act as a sponsor, because some grants require either to be a nonprofit or to have an authority as a conduit, so to speak. Or we're able to guide you along the process and help you complete these applications. Some of the grants that we are asked about a lot are our RCAPS, the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program. That's for redevelopment projects, construction projects. Those are usually, you have to get an award from the state. It's a reimbursement program. It's very complex, but it's one of the most popular grant programs in the state. Keystone Innovation Zone tax credit KIZ. You have to be in a certain area within Bucks County, but for the most part, Lower Bucks is included in this. You can get up to $100,000 in tax credits depending on your growth. Right now, the applications the window is open right now up until December 1st. But it's open every year. You can go in as long as you're under 8 years old. You can go in every year, and you're showing growth. It's a really, really good program, as long as you're following into different categories. So you have to be in advanced manufacturing, business services, life sciences, and I'm forgetting the fourth one, but yeah, you have to fall into one of those. But again, we talk to businesses all the time to try to hash out what's the best route for them. An EPA grant, again, from remediation work. Sometimes old buildings, when you're moving into, just need some funding to try to clean it out. Same thing with the industrial sites reuse program, more for commercial industrial sites for clean out. Local share account, that is also for, it could be for funding for different businesses, not to start a business, but more for the construction side of things. And then you have the manufacturing tax credit. That's directly for manufacturing companies. And then the PA First grant program, where but there's also a tie where you have to commit to employment in the county, as well as, or not in the county, in the state, as well as the fixed number. It could be up to $5,000 per job that you're promising to create. But for the most part, when it comes to the IDA, and I'll give you an example of one of the projects we're working on right now through the grant administration process. It's a company over in New Britain, Thrombolex, very, very innovative. That you can see that little design there is it actually goes into your body through a cath, usually through your leg, and it's able to go right in and inject an anticoagulant as well as break up blood clots. Very innovative stuff. But we're able to assist with they're looking to expand their manufacturing facilities, and we're able to help with that. to get them off the ground. We looked at kids tax credits with them as well. This year they're not eligible, but they might be next year. So it's definitely an exciting thing that we're able to do with a lot of the grants that are out there with the administration. What I would say about the IDA, as you can see, we can do a lot of different things. And I tell people all the time, just reach out. It's better to reach out and have a conversation with me or someone on our staff. We look at everything in a very holistic way. We want to try to help as many businesses as we can. So we might not know of a program that's out there, or we might not be able to help you right now, but we might be able to point you in the right direction, or we might tell you, hey, you have something for next year, or in some capacity, try to guide you and lean on our staff's knowledge of the different programs. We don't expect you guys to know all the different nuances of all the different programs and loans funds out there. That's what we're for. But we're always happy to take a phone call and walk through and see how we can best help. That's my contact information there. If our office number, then my direct email, if you have any ideas or again, want to set up a phone call, or if you want to meet and come take a look at a business, whether it's this, or it's like, for example, connecting you with the county for workforce development training money or something like that. We can be a really good resource for you to help potentially grow your business in different avenues. So I want to thank the SCORE folks again for letting me give our little spiel on the IDA, and then I'll kick it back to Ed, and we can kind of go from the questions.
Okay, we have a couple of questions, and I've got a whole list of them. So I'll read you the first one from Mary. My insurance business will be based in Montgomery County. Would your organization still be able to help me grow my startup business? I think you only do Bucks County.
Yeah, no, we only do Bucks County. The Montgomery County does have an industrial development authority, but they're not as active as our IDA. Where I would point you for Montgomery County is David Zellers out of their Commerce Department. David's very good, and he would be able to point you in the right direction of either low interest loans through their redevelopment authority. Their redevelopment authority in Montgomery County acts a lot like our IDA does, and they're able to help with loan funds and things like that. So, but like I said, David Zellers at the Commerce Department is a really good resource.
Have a couple of businesses that are interested in, and they don't know how. They're hoping that they qualify in some form or another. One of them is a daycare center, which would be set up in Bucks County. Is that something that would qualify for either your grant program or one of your loan programs, or what?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually, and again, that's the same thing. We would discuss the business with that person, and we would go through and kind of see where we might be able to help. We actually have two education-based daycare programs that we have loans out to right now, actually. One is in Doylestown, another one's in Chalfont. So yeah, this is definitely something that's not uncommon for us. But again, we'd like to, we'll take a look and see how holistically we can help and see what different sources we can pull in.
Now, one of them that asked me, they haven't started yet, but they're about to start up. And they have a building, et cetera, or rent. So you would look at that also, right? Not just because it was an existing operation.
Yeah, we would definitely look at a startup as well. Probably a little bit more thorough on our evaluation, experience and collateral and things like that. But yeah, absolutely. There's no, we don't shy away from any kind of startup businesses at all.
Okay. What about salons, either nail salons or hair salons, or sort of the salons in between that offer all of the products? Is that something that could be on your radar?
Yeah, same thing as the daycare. We would definitely look at it, and we would definitely see where we might be able to help. Again, depending on where our funding sources are at. Obviously, that one might not qualify for our redevelopment funds, but it definitely could for our small to medium-sized businesses for either a loan or I don't know if there's any grants that would necessarily be out there, but definitely for some kind of loan, if it's an existing business, or even if it's a startup, we'll take a look and see how we can maybe best help.
Okay. Do you help with relocating a business to Bucks County?
It depends. We don't necessarily find a site for you. We don't necessarily but we
Assume they have a site and
If they
they
have a
want to
site-
move in.
yeah, if they want to do that, we can absolutely, again, we can try to provide some working capital for outfitting a location. I think, as I mentioned before, one of our startup Bucks businesses actually is expanding to a second location in Bucks County, and we're providing them loan funds to try to outfit that unit, that new unit they're moving into. So definitely would be able to help with that. Again, depending on the business, what it's going to do and things like that, it could be a variety of different things that we might be able to help them with.
Okay. Is there help for sole proprietorships, or do we need, do they need to have a bunch of employees?
We've helped sole proprietorships before, but again, it's going to be dependent on what the business is. And what there's collateral, if it's a consulting business versus some kind of, I don't know, some other kind of business where they might be an owner. But I mean, again, we don't have a lot of sole. I'm sorry, go
I
ahead.
guess people will come in and, I mean, the answer is come in and talk to you.
Right, exactly. Right. And then if I can't help you, or if you're looking for something else, I might be able to either point you in the right direction to, workforce and economic development of the county. They might have some other funding there. Or, again, SBA, they might have something that's a little bit more available from funding than our core funding group.
All right. Here's another one. I run women's community. Is there any chance you are familiar with any grants for women in business?
Right off the top of my head, not specifically just for women in business. It does help with certain loan funding. I know the SBA has some stuff for that. I know that we look at that and take that into account when we're looking at our loan review committee. But grants specifically just for women-owned businesses, no, not this time. There are, like I said, there are preferred sources out there that are available, but it's more of a loan fund than a direct grant.
Okay. Here's one, very interesting. I'm interested in starting a recycling center with a purchase of a property. Is that something you could help me with?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that actually, I think we'd be able to help you with the tax-exempt side of it, which is one of the larger projects. We've done recent issues for waste management for their landfill down in Lower Bucks County. I think we did one in 2021. It was $100 million. They were doing a redevelopment. So that would fit that bill of a recycling, some kind of disposal company that's looking to increase or create or expand their facility. That might be a really, really good candidate for a tax-exempt issue.
Okay. I've got a small business and I'm interested in buying the building I'm in. And the landlord seems agreeable to selling it to me. And I've been in business for a couple of years. Could I come and talk to you folks about getting a loan to buy the building? I guess I could go to the bank, but maybe your deal might be better.
Yeah, so absolutely. It would be, you can, depending on what the size is, our loans, depending on where everything's at, we try not to go over $250,000 unless it's a very large scale project. But there also has been cases where we've partnered with banks. So maybe the bank, if it's a $200,000 or $250,000 acquisition of a property, the bank comes in with half and we come in with half. So it's definitely something where we could definitely work. We would take a second position, something like that. We can definitely work through that to see if that's something there. But definitely, we're very creative on how we're able to assist businesses. We're just trying to make it work to try to help as much as we can.
All right. So I have a trucking company located in Bucks County, and I'm interested in expanding basically by buying more trucks. Is that something that I could come in and talk to you about?
Yes, we would definitely talk to you. I don't know how much we would be able to assist. I mean, you could definitely with a loan possibly through us for the purchase, for working capital, for equipment, things like that. But yeah, we'd have to, again, case by case, everything, look at the business itself. But absolutely, yeah, that's definitely something where I would try to see where the best source of funds might be for that.
The fellow figures that either the dealership or the manufacturer would extend them some, give them some financing, but they were thinking of if there was additional over and above what they couldn't provide. That's where they were looking like it was an intermediate loan or something like that.
Yeah, and
it's thing you look at.
Yep, that's definitely something, and that's what we're there for. We're there for where, to help make something work where, you're stuck. We've definitely been in those cases where we did that last year. There was a company that was actually needed a bridge for a sale of their one division, and they couldn't get a bank to come in. We came in, helped bridge that. They sold the one division, and they're thriving in Bucks County since. So that's what we're there for. We're there to help when sometimes it's either the timing or the financial institution might not be able to that quickly. If we can help, we'll do our best to try to help.
All right. How would be the best way to inquire about additional COVID-19 business recovery, funds? Do you work with any of that?
So we there's no more grant funds available through that. The county had run a program. They'd ran several programs earlier in 2021 and in the beginning of 2022. Our funds through COVID-19 are simply loan funds. So that is something where we can provide a low interest loan, short term, something like that for working capital. But yeah, we definitely can help there. We just don't have any more grant funds available right now.
Oh, okay. How much did you have when you were loaning it out?
So we originally started with 2.5 million, and we got it out that we loaned that out in about 10 months. We've built up from repayments since then to enough where we can start making some more loans, which is great. So we're trying to get that money back out to help as many businesses as we can.
Do you have a list or a group of preferred banks that you like to work with, as opposed to me just coming in with the bank that I use around the corner?
No, we no preference on bank. I can tell you some banks that are Bucks based that are really good. But yeah, no, there's no preference on our side. Usually we work with a lot or Penn Community, CNN Bank, William Penn Bank down Lower Bucks, Univest. Those are usually Quakertown National. Those are our usual suspects. First National Bank in Newtown. Those are usually our usual suspects, some of the local banks.
What about credit unions? Because some of our clients actually are members of credit unions, and credit unions are very responsive to small business. But I don't know if you work with them also.
Not a lot, honestly. I'll be honest with you, not a lot, but not opposed to it. Not because we have any kind of aversion to working with a credit union. We just haven't had too many deals come through there where they've been the lead lender on that.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. All right. One of our clients has an interesting business. It's I guess you call it a lawn care service business. Basically go around mowing lawns and doing fertilizing and all that stuff. Is that something, I realize it's kind of assets on the move or on wheels. I used to know banks that wouldn't loan money to anything with wheels under it. But is that something that, assuming they've been in business a while, that you would look at to help them with expansion capital, such as buying more ride-on mowers and trucks and things like that?
Yep. Usually in that case, we would look at it and we would do probably just off the top of my head, probably, a personal guarantee from the owners, and then probably put UCCs on the equipment. So trucks and all that stuff. So
Right.
That's how we would structure it. But yeah, definitely, again, depending on the size and what they're looking to do, we would definitely see where we could help.
Okay. You had experience in construction, according to your resume. Suppose I was a small residential contractor, building houses. Could I come and talk to you about cash flow needs and things like that?
So we definitely can't help with home construction. That's not our mission, but my background is in community development. So I will always talk to whoever. So I do have a good idea about, either affordable housing, funding that way. And then even just commercial projects, things like that from the real estate development side. So always happy to talk and see. We don't have any funding specifically to help for housing and things like that. But again, that's something where more than happy to talk, and I might be able to point you in a direction that might be able to help.
Okay. So basically, if I was going to build a small industrial park, you're our guy.
Oh, without a doubt. Yep. With a small industrial park, we can do all kinds of different financing through the tax-exempt route. And then also some grants. We might be able to get you some redevelopment grants as well to try to build that. But then also, it might not have to be a whole big park. It might be just one facility. It could be an older building that you're looking to rehab and it might be the costs have gotten away. We can try to help with some grant funding there. All the way down to mom and pop business, maybe need $75,000 to try to get some working capital, to expand. So we kind of cover the whole gambit. That's why, as I'm saying, just give me a call, because we cover so many different things that there might be something that you might eliminate in your brain, but I might go, oh no, we could probably help you in this way instead of that.
Now, I saw that trolley barn that you showed a picture of.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, what did you do there? Because we have a lot of older structures here in Bucks County that could probably do something similar.
Yeah.
What exactly did you provide?
Yeah, so we actually came in with the trolley barn. It was two owners. They had an idea, a vision of what they wanted to do, and then in cooperation with the county, with the borough of Quakertown, we were able to assist them with one, securing grant financing. So they were able to get about a $2 million rack fee for the redevelopment of the property. And then we were able to provide them a $1 million loan for the construction side to help with the rehab of everything. And it just went from construction to perm and just it was just basically became a mortgage on the property. But that got everything off the ground, got them in operations. And now they've been open for a couple of years now. They've been doing very, very well, paying back everything. And the grant's has been great so far on that property.
Oh, good. Mm-hmm. How many square feet was that building?
Oh, you're putting me to the test here. Yeah, I honestly forget, but it was got to be at least 30,000 at least. It's massive going back there, and it kind of resembles the like Reading Terminal, where you go in and there's a bunch of different food places, and then you got a brewery over here. There's places to eat in the back. There's a huge open space in the back to eat, and then I think they have some offices off to the side for their staff. And then I know that one project has helped to spiral some other projects in Quakertown that even we're not a part of. I mean, across the street, they're doing another brewery. We weren't involved, but that was something where, because the Trolley Barn was such a success, that kind of the snowball effect. And that's what we were hoping for, was that some of these projects help to, one project then helps to inspire another project, and it's a snowball effect.
I know your industrial parks work. What about small office buildings or office parks? Are they also something that you would consider, or is that not in your purview?
No, we definitely can do those as well. It would be something we'd have to look at for every different kind of financing. Yeah. So that might not qualify on the tax-exempt side, but we might be able to provide them a loan, and they might be able to get a grant depending on the timing. They might be able to get some kind of grant money for that, either development or redevelopment of that building. So we might be able to hit a couple different avenues there.
Okay, so I have a smaller size manufacturing company, and I want to add some more machinery. Mm-hmm. So could I do machinery financing through you? Obviously, I can get some from the manufacturer, but they don't usually cover everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Yep, we'd be able to help with that, depending on what it is. But yeah, absolutely, we'd be able to help.
What do you do? Take a second position behind the financing of the manufacturer, or? Yeah,
for the most part, usually a second position. Again, guarantees from the owners, and that's where we've done a really good job. Our staff does a really, really good job of doing a lot of homework beforehand. Knock on wood. Our default rate is almost zero in terms of the loans that we have
good.
out there. And we have almost 75 loans out there right now. So we do a really good job of getting to know the business before we really pull the trigger. And we want to make sure that it's an impact and that the business is doing well. And it's something we really take a lot of pride in. So, but yeah, like I said, that we would definitely be able to help out with something along that line.
So along the lines with machinery, fella has a huge used machinery business. And, that's kind of like this, depending on the market and depending on the economy. But he needed some additional working capital. How would you, if he came in to talk, and he's been established for a number of years, so it's not like he's just showed up yesterday with a truck full of parts. How would you go about doing that?
Yeah, so we would first, again, sit down, look for what he's looking for.
Right.
If he's looking for machinery, if he's looking to expand, something like that. Again, different avenues, different sources that we might be able to tap into. From there, the next step would be we would send him an application, which is on our website. If you ever want to take a look at it, goes through what the documents are required, everything like that. The next step after that, once I receive everything back, I'll go through it with our staff, kind of vet through any questions we have. We'll go back and forth. It then goes to our loan review committee, which is made up of some board members as well as some local bankers. Again, they do the same thing. They'll vet everything, take a look, have some questions. We kind of go back and forth. And then if everything looks good from there, again, I'll present it to the board. If everything looks good there, if they have any questions, that'll kind of wrap everything up. But like I said, there's a lot of review in there. And it's a lot of, we like to have a conversation because unlike a bank, we understand there might be some instances where, a bank might not be as understanding as us, where we would say, okay, we get it. We've been there. We're all entrepreneurs here. We get it. And we're just trying to help you bridge that gap versus some banks might be very rigid on their rules,
Right.
on their lending rules.
I was just curious, assuming everything is okay financially, how long does it take for something like that? Does it take 3 months or 5 months or maybe not
we've done it as quickly probably as 30 days from everything. If you can really, it depends on when you talk to us. If you get me in the beginning of the month, I probably could get you by the same time the following month if everything looks good. But I would say conservatively, probably anywhere from 30 to 60 days, anywhere, depending on when you need to close and everything like that.
Right. Well, that's pretty reasonable, actually. Banks take a lot longer in some cases.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. When you have a small staff like us, we can move a little quicker versus they got to send it to so-and-so and then it's got to go to somebody else. And we can operate a little quicker. Well, that's good. This way you'll keep the business in the county. Exactly. Okay. I think we've exhausted our questions. And so first, I want to say thank you very, very much for an excellent presentation. Very, very informative. I think we'll be having a lot of people tapping into our library of webinars for this. So I'm going to turn it back to our chapter chair, Linda, for some closing remarks. Linda?
Okay, thanks, Ed. Thanks, TJ. Great presentation. Very good information that we always get asked about. So I'm happy that they now have a resource to contact. So please take advantage of this. To all of you out there, if you're looking just for advice and you're not sure what to do about these types of loans and grants, please contact TJ and he'll be happy to help you. So thank you all for being with us today. This is, I believe, our last webinar of the year.
Yes.
And we will have a full slate of webinars coming up starting in the new year. So stay tuned and check your emails for your SCORE webinars that will be presented in 23. So thank you once again, and we'll see you all soon.
Right. Thank you. And
Thanks,
take
everybody.
care.